These people are insane. That's what I wanted to start with. Uh, the casting department, they really I mean, there's a lot I have to get to. I'm Mount Rudmore. This is another BB25 stream or video if you're watching this on YouTube. And it's just insane. But I'm going to try to go in order as best I can and what's gone down since my last stream. So, when I left off, where I kind of ended my last stream was Red. He was feeling blindsided about Cameron being nominated, and he's still really kind of in his feelings about that. And he's telling this to Felicia, and she's just like, "You go ahead and win veto, save Cameron." I'm thinking she should just tell him about Hisam because Red is closer to Cameron than Hisam. Professors or no professors. And they're talking, and Red's just kind of like, you know, what about taking a big shot at Hisam, perhaps? And Felicia's like, if I were to do that, would you be on board? And he's like, if the rest of the professors are. So, yeah, he was he was not that difficult to convince, actually. So, I'm just thinking you should have been honest with him right away. Just let him know what's going on. His buddy might be on the block, but he's not going to be the target. You know, a key part of the game is definitely alliance management. You know, yes, you want to work with people, but you actually have to work with them. You can't just be aligned with them. That's just it. The professors feel like they're aligned, but they're not really working together too much. And this really kind of applies to everybody in it. Um, we got a Corey cam talk. He talks about how he has a final two with Jared, but he is not going to bring him to the end because he doesn't think he can beat him. He wants to work with free agents in the house. He wants to like reel them in to stop Suri and Izzy sooner rather than later because he does have a lot of respect for Suri. He has been fanboying like crazy around her. But I think because he knows who she is, he's he might be a little more aware of her threat level than certain other people in that house. He says that he trusts America and Mimi the most, even though Mimi basically gives up all the info that he gives to her. So he probably shouldn't trust Mimi that much, but, you know, maybe at some point he can find a way to get her to trust him. Suri tells Izzy that she knows Cameron is telling Red everything, and Red is just playing dumb. And, her reads are pretty unbelievable. And at this point, I'm thinking, I really hope this doesn't change things. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Um, Red and Cameron talk. Hello to my first viewer. Red and Cameron talk, and Red outs the professors to Cameron. But, Cameron isn't like outraged by this. He's just like, oh, okay. And Red's even saying, like, you're probably going to be Hisam's replacement. And I'm also hoping this doesn't change things too much. This was kind of annoying. Cameron tells Red that he's not giving Felicia all the credit for this plan with Hisam because he's been cooking it up for a while now. Part of the reason I want Hisam out is because of how delusional he's been, but Cameron is too, and I'm thinking if they can't get Hisam, then I could settle for Cameron in terms of, we got a delusional person out the house. Um, this was a very uncomfortable and very long conversation between Jared and Blue. And like at this point, I frankly I hope and do kind of think that the uh the possibly blooming showmance between them probably not happening because he tries again to get Blue to tell him how many people she's been with. And again, she doesn't want to tell him. And he keeps going on and on about it. And this gets to a point where he's saying, like, I would sleep with a woman on the first date, but if she wanted to sleep with me, or if she did sleep with me on the first date, I wouldn't want to date her. Like, she's not, like, she's not someone that you would want to date. So you're just spreading your seed, but you're like, this field better not be plowed by anyone else. Like, really, Jared? Is this how you think it works? No. And Blue and Izzy and Jag stage what can only be described as an intervention, but it doesn't get through to him. And it gets to a point where he says, I'm not making this up. He just recently started seeing females as people. Why didn't you think that before? Men and women are different genders, but they're not different species from each other. And Blue just kind of looked at the camera. Like I called Turner Halpert last year because he would always glare at the camera like Jim Halpert from The Office. In that moment, Blue became Blue Halpert. She's just like, and she was all of us at that moment. And just hearing the things that Jared says, like I know I compared him to Monty before, but I don't know if that was entirely fair. He's more like Brent from BB25. Just Hannah's faces whenever Brent would say anything about women. Hannah's reactions are just burned into my mind. And it led to her giving one of the all time greatest goodbye messages. So, yeah, just Jared, dude, your mom may be a legend, but you are not going to be remembered for anything positive or for very little positive. He hasn't really done too many good things yet on his own. He's really kind of been carried. And yes, okay, fine. His social game has been pretty good, and he's gotten himself in some pretty comfortable positions. But it's like, that's his inner Suri, I guess. All this, I just recently started seeing females as people. That's that sounds like the kind of mentality that he's had to work on, like getting past due to his father, who I just found out. Suri only has 3 kids. His father, Jared's father, has 11 kids with several different women, obviously, because Suri has not had 11 kids. But yeah. And one more thing. I've said this before. I feel like I have to say this every year now, every season now on Big Brother. And I don't love that I have to keep saying this, but I'm going to say it again because I feel like I have to. Don't trust anyone. Don't trust any man who refers to women as females most of the time. Because if you hear a man say females while talking about women, he doesn't respect women. Okay? This is every time without fail. Of course there are exceptions. Context is important, but if you hear it in the context of like what Jared was saying, uh, mm-mm, mm-mm. Red flag, red flag. This is kind of red. I'll wave this. Red flag. And also, he alludes to having some big secrets. And he actually alludes to this twice. This day and then the next day. And uh I've said this before. Jared is in a good position in spite of how bad a player he is. Because things just keep working out for him. And they probably shouldn't. Corey tells America that the trio of Sari, Jared, and Izzy is dangerous long term. He doesn't think that the two of them are targets yet, but they shouldn't get too close and be seen as a showmance, because some people are kind of thinking that. I don't really see it, I just see them as friends. But yeah, that's what Corey said to her. Then we get the veto picks. Now this was big. Question was always, does Hisam even get picked? Because that could very well throw a wrench in the plans. Now, granted, Hisam was saying, I don't even want to win this week, I just want to take it easy. So if he were picked, then he might not go for it anyway, because he feels comfortable. But he was not even picked. Of course, Felicia, Cameron, and Jag are competing as the HOH and the nominees. But Izzy, Red, and Corey are all also picked. Cameron's the only person that has been in a veto before of this group. In fact, Cameron has now been in all three vetoes and all the HOH competitions, all the competitions, everything that they have done so far. Cameron has been a part of it, and he is still yet to win. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert: Cameron doesn't win the veto. Sorry, I have to keep wiping my face. It's too sweaty in here, and I forgot to. I brought a fan into my room to cool myself off, and I forgot to turn it on. Give me a second. Sorry about that. So before the veto happens, Felicia and Sari are talking. They agree that Hisam will lose it when it happens. But Felicia says, I can't worry about it right now. And, don't worry about it. It's a game. And there are rules that will protect you from him doing anything truly out of line. This is the last thing I want to talk about before the veto results come in. Jared tells Suri that sometimes he thinks it might be easier to just let Izzy go. And this is clearly his bruised ego talking. He is so insecure about himself that he projects it onto women, and now he's projecting this against Izzy. Like he has a problem with Izzy calling him out. That's clearly what it is. She called him on his BS, and you know, let me tell you something. Guys who say stuff like what Jared said and what he's been saying, they're not the kind of guys who they're not the kind of guys who like it when women challenge them. But yes, there is trouble in the Fields household because Jared doesn't like his adopted sister anymore. Now, as for the veto itself, Felicia was really wanting Cameron to come off the block. And I think if anyone but Jag were to win the veto, it probably would be used on Cameron. But Jag won the veto. Finally, one of my top three preseason picks has something to put on their resume. I don't know how long Jag has for this game, but he has a win to his name. He has a veto win. And I'm very happy about that. Now let's just see if Blue and Matt can at least get on the board before the season ends. Or before their season ends. So yes, of course I was very happy about this. I'm thinking Cameron versus Hisam on the block, that sounds awesome. Because even the worst case scenario in that point, like Hisam managing to convince people to keep him around, that would result in Cameron leaving, and I don't like Cameron, so that'd be okay. But I still want Hisam to go the most. He he played too hard. It's why Person went. It's why Riley went. It's why Hisam should go. So, because of the Humillaverse, which I guess was the theme of this week, really, because Felicia got slimed for winning HOH, and Jag now gets a chicken costume as a punishment. And of course, my mind immediately went to Annalise, or Sis, from BB21, who got a chicken costume as a punishment. So, yeah. That's the first time I've even thought about Annalise in a while. I talk about BB21 from time to time when I have to, but I don't think I have ever had a reason to mention Annalise, even in passing. I mean, she just did not matter to that season. She was in a majority alliance that completely fell apart, but she still kind of ended up in the middle. And so many people in that alliance said some really horrible things throughout the game. And, she didn't say great things, but just. I just love how little of an impact Annalise had on the Phantom. It's like she clearly just wanted to be an influencer. And I honestly feel like she couldn't convince Ned Flanders to go to church. But yes, Jag gets a chicken costume, just like Annalise did. And apparently he has like some similar outfits for Like he's got one for like swimming. There's one that I think is sleepwear, but it's basically just the same thing. It's literally the Office meme. Like they're the same picture. So yes, I was happy Jag won. Did find it funny that he got a punishment for his win. Here is where things start to get a little weird. Sari ponders to Izzy in the storage room. Should we just go for red instead? They seem to think that he threw the competition, and they're like, does he have something going on now? So while they're talking, Hisam comes in, and he starts pushing really hard for Matt to be the target. This is what he does. He comes into a room, tells you what he wants to do, insists you also want to do it, and Izzy is clearly sick of him at this point. And she thinks that the duo of Hisam and Cameron is more dangerous than Red and Cameron, which I do agree with. But she says that she doesn't want to be a part of flipping right now because she did a lot of it in the previous week. So it's like, okay, maybe Izzy won't spiral. Maybe Izzy won't be the Izzy we've come to know. Maybe she won't be passionately throwing out a lot of names. Maybe she'll just take it easy. Maybe she'll just tell Sari, we got this. We have the plan. We trust Felicia. We can just take it easy for a couple days. Yeah, of course, that's not what Izzy does. That's not Izzy. Corey tells Sari. This is the first instance of Corey talking some sense. Corey tells Sari that Cameron wouldn't go after her or Izzy. It says everyone knows the plan, and it's too late to back out. Now, up to this point, I hadn't really heard Felicia say much about it. So I was really waiting on it. But she tells Sari, Izzy, and Matt she's gonna put up Hisam, saying, I'm not taking out a knight, I'm taking out a king. Which is something Hisam said, and he said it to Izzy, and Izzy reported it back. So now Felicia is going to throw that in his face. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be great. Until Izzy starts spiraling. Because she's Izzy. And it's what she does best. She thinks the numbers that are against her are too great. She thinks that there's going to be Jag, Matt, Blue, Red, Cameron, Bowie, Mimi, America. All against them in her group. Why these people? I don't know. She tells this to Sari, and Sari thinks Red is a bigger risk because no one wants to work with Hisam. So they should take out Red and leave Hisam to take out Matt. They try to convince Felicia about this, and Felicia thinks Mimi is a snake. And it's like, okay, we are really coming off the rails here. Quite a bit. And, like, the whole house knows and is excited about Hisam getting backdoored. And they already tried and backed out of flipping last week. So this would be terrible for all three of their games. To be doing this again. Jared talks to the three of them. He thinks Hisam will be gunning for him, and he doesn't see that group, that big group that Izzy put together in her head. He doesn't see them as an entire alliance. Suri thinks they won't want anything to do with Hisam, even though they could easily tell him all the flip-flopping that the three of them have been doing this week and last week with Riley, both of which, one way or another, were designed to hurt Hisam's game. It's taking him out this week, it's undermining his HOH last week. So, yeah, all they don't seem to realize that they're giving the other side ammunition to not trust the three of them anymore and make them bigger targets than they are. Like, they are all in very good positions in this house. They just need to chill. And at this point, Sari, Felicia, and Izzy just go into overdrive, targeting people. There's Red, Cameron. They're like, no, we want to keep Cameron, so let's put the target back on Red. Oh wait, Mimi's a snake. Let's get Mimi. Hold on. What's up with Bowie? Bowie's really weird. How about America? Why don't we take out America? Oh, no, wait, let's go back to Mimi. Now, Mimi, we all know for a fact that Mimi has a very low tolerance for nonsense. Or anything she thinks is nonsense. Forget a rant in the storage room. If they were to do this, she would go on a full-fledged one-woman show in the storage room about how bad this would be for them to do to her. But they say Mimi because they think she would go and they'd get to keep Cameron, and he'd be a number for them. And I'm just thinking, Mimi knows too much. She will bury all of you. She works in politics. She knows how to bury opponents. Well, she should. If she's any good, she knows how to do that. Felicia says that they can spin it so that, like, spin it to Hisam if they try to rat them out to Hisam. Felicia says they can spin it so that they wanted to see who'd give that information out, like just see who they could trust or something. I don't know. It didn't really make much sense to me. I feel like she's a little overconfident that that would work. Then they suggest Matt to keep Hisam happy. And again, why are we worried about keeping people happy in the Big Brother house? Especially people who are doing very well in the game at this point. No, you don't want to make them happy. You want to make them as uncomfortable as possible as soon as possible. Then they go back to Red, and then they go back to America. Like, no one over there cares about America. I think Corey does a little bit. Not in a showman's way, but he enjoys talking game with her. And I'm hearing all of this, and I'm like, please cycle back to Hisam. Like, if you gotta go through every name in the house, so be it. Just land back on Hisam, please. It's like they spun a wheel with all the other house guests' faces on it, and every time a face goes by the arrow, they're like, "Oh, that's who we're going. Oh no, here comes Mimi. We're going for her now. Oh, here comes America. It's her turn. Oh, now we're targeting Red. Like, wait till the wheel stops." Mimi actually goes into the HOH room with the three of them. And I'm just like, please, Mimi, talk some sense into them. You have a reputation of being level-headed. Convince them of it. Mimi realizes that they're talking through options. She suggests Red, but thinks he'd stay over Cameron, which I feel could have possibly been her way of, like, trying to keep Red. I mean, he is in the professor's with her, so there's that. She eventually leaves, and right after she does, Saree's like, "Oh my god, that was really awkward. She was really awkward." And then Felicia's like, "All right, screw it. I'm putting Mimi up." Uh, Now I know I have made my stance on Mimi clear. I feel like she's a little anti Team Fun Feeds, and also I've been kind of starting to get a sense that she's possibly a little too antisocial for this game. So it's like, yeah, I haven't been a big fan of her, but this would be a horrible move for the three of you because Mimi has so much dirt on all of you. She can bury all of you. Bowie, I actually get to talk for a little while longer about Bowie for once. Bowie is feeling like something is amiss. She's telling this to Mimi, and Mimi's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. Everything's chill. We just we gotta have trust in our alliance. We gotta have faith in them. Felicia will do the right thing." Bowie then goes to the HOH room, and Felicia tells her that Mimi is starting to go more to the other side because of the Middlemen Alliance, which is a joke that Corey told, but Sari has run with. And I don't think Corey intended for this, but if he did, then he is truly that Regina George gif of her just standing in the hallway, looking all cocky and proud of herself, while everyone around her is literally attacking each other, like physically attacking each other, and she's just standing there like, "Oh yeah, I am proud of myself." So Felicia tells Bowie that Mimi is defecting, and I'm just like, Bowie, would you please try to verify this in some kind of way? But she probably won't because Bowie has really just been kind of taking it easy. But as this conversation goes along, the target shifts back to America. And Bowie supports that. And it was around this time that I'm like, my head is starting to hurt. There are as many days left in the season as the entirety of BB24. I need to just take a break. I just need to go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, and hope that these people have reattached their heads. So I woke up, started going through, trying to figure out what I missed. Because that's always what I do when I wake up in the morning. I'm basically putting it together in reverse as I go through my timeline because I order it by following by most recent because the For You tab is for suckers. Um, I woke up to hearing that Corey and Jared were talking things over with Felicia. Well, they were talking things over with each other for a while and being like, well, Jared told Corey that Hisam was no longer the target, and Corey went right to work putting that target back on him. And eventually, Corey and Jared went to talk to Felicia, and they're like, it doesn't make sense to not target Hisam right now. Corey points out what I've been saying that flipping the vote off of Hisam, just like they flipped the vote or tried to and went back and forth about it last week, would make the other side tell him about it, and it would be a serious risk to do that. And then Felicia's like, all right, this is going to be our group now. Me, Sari, Izzy, Jared, Bowie, Corey, Red, Cameron. That's it. That's our 8-person alliance. So, yeah, sure. Not sure how I feel about an 8-person alliance forming. I mean, I don't like 8-person alliances, period. I think that's too big. But an 8-person alliance when that's more than 2/3 of the house, basically, or just about 2/3. Yeah, it's it's foolish. But Felicia does tell Izzy they got paranoid about there being other groups in the house, and it's best to stick with Hisam or it'll all blow up in their face. Now, I've been kind of feeling this way for a while. Like, is Corey my favorite person in this house? Because he's doing a lot of work to make himself my favorite. And I'm going to say it. Corey is my favorite person in that house at this point. You know, he he's given us the fun feeds that would result from Hisam being blindsided. He's going to be even more insufferable for his last few days. I mean, assuming they still vote him out. He's going to be insufferable until eviction night. So he's still giving us fun feeds, and he's also giving us common sense, logical, strategic gameplay. And it's just like, thank you, Corey. We needed you on this cast. So yeah, I've been going back and forth a lot about who my favorite would be. Like, of course, I had my top 3 preseason picks: Jag, Blue, and Matt. But they haven't really done too much. I mean, I still like the 3 of them as people, but as game players, I mean, I will say they have pros and cons. Like, Matt is very endearing. Um, Blue is a very fun person to be around. And Jag finally has a comp win, which he got when he needed, because he was a nominee. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Corey is my favorite person in this house. And then, just when I started to think, you know what, Jared, you did some good work in that conversation, well, he reminded me that he's probably my least favorite person still in this house. Possibly Cameron is my least favorite. But Jared is he's making a run for it. So he's talking to Blue, and he's just kind of talking about how, people have slept together in the Big Brother house before. I know for a fact that Taylor and Joseph slept together last season. No, that did not happen. Taylor had one night relations with Monty, and that was it. And it's just like, why is he bringing this up? Why do so many people bring this up? I still find myself blocking people on Twitter for saying that Taylor slept her way to the end. I'm like, what? No. She slept with one person, one time. Guarantee a lot of those people were big fans of Kylissa. Kyle and Alyssa sleeping together in the house. That was fine for them because, it didn't work out for them or something. Or, they were whiter or something. Just, a lot of reasons why it's different for them, but for Taylor it's bad. I feel like so many people in this fandom are trying to police Taylor's body. And it's like, stop! She is a grown woman. She will do whatever she wants. Blue will do whatever she wants. But I gotta tell you, I really hope she doesn't want to sleep with Jared at this point in the house or outside. Because this guy is just. Mm. I saw someone. I saw someone on Twitter suggest that his BB comic would be Red Flag. I'm like, that won't be his comic, but I think that might be my new nickname for him. Ugh. Just Jared, stop. You're harming your mother's reputation. Although, to be honest, Sari didn't really do herself any favors when she and Felicia were talking about Blue being, I don't want to say the word. Um, it's the thing that Santa says 3 times, if you catch my drift. I didn't love that conversation from the three of them. And like Felicia was like this close to being my favorite person in this house. And I'm not saying she's dropped to the bottom, but I did not love that conversation at all. I will I will look past it if she follows through with a plan for once, but I did not love that. But Felicia and Jag talk. Now this was a big point of contention with Felicia, Suri, and Izzy when they were on their rampage in the HOH room. They were like, we made this 7-person alliance, the three of us, Jared, Jag, Blue, and Matt, and yet none of them have come up to talk to us. And of course, the prevailing theory in the fandom has just been because they trust you and they trust the plan, and they don't realize they have to keep reinforcing it with you every couple seconds. So that's what made them start to think, oh, these people are against us for sure now. So yes, Felicia and Jag having a talk now. I'm like, this is a good time, Jag. Felicia tells Jag about her chess analogy. Why take out a knight when you can take out the king? And Jag's like, oh, that'll make for great TV. And I'm just like, okay, we seem to be back on Hisam. I feel my blood pressure lowering a little bit, but we've still got about 24 hours. A little less by now, probably 20, 21 hours until the veto meeting. Jag straight up said, I'm using the veto on myself, which, as much as I love Jag, if he doesn't use the veto on himself, vote him out. Okay? But yeah, Jag said he's going to use the veto on himself. I don't think that's really a surprise to anybody. All right. So I have been talking for just about 45 minutes now. Let's see what has changed. I at this point I kind of feel like that GIF with with the guy walking in. I think it's from Community. Yeah, I believe it was Donald Glover. He walks in. Uh, he just walks in the room holding like a bunch of pizzas or whatever, and he just gets like a shocked face because the whole place is on fire. So let's see if that's what I'm about to walk into on social media, on Twitter. Let's just see. Okay, so this doesn't really change too much, but someone just showed me the GIF of Jackson Mickey putting deodorant on his junk. So that's great. Totally not still traumatized by that. That has to hurt. To be clear, I'm not actually seeing his junk. In case you are unfamiliar with the GIF, it's just he's got a towel on. He's just bending over and shoving it up the towel and just that's got to sting. It's not baby powder. All right, now I'm gonna check BB updates. I feel like the fees had gone down actually because I guess I mean because of the hurricane. Hurricane Hillary is over Los Angeles right now, which is insane. That there's a hurricane in California right now. Not BB Daily hasn't updated. Still haven't updated yet. It's weird. I'll check the hashtag, see if anything's gone down. Jared, stop. Stop with this. He asks Blue to say, I want to F you in Korean. Bro, th- th- stop. There are so many things you could ask her to say in Korean. This is. Mm. You know what the problem is? Jared is very likely going to be in this game for a long time. Yeah, come on, dude. Apparently Mimi said to Izzy that she doesn't like to push conversations. You know, she just sort of lets them happen naturally. So I hope Izzy takes this to heart because that is not Izzy. He's just she's just oh my Jared again. Here's another one. Jared asks Blue if she's a lap dancer. Stop. Just stop with this. Is this what this stream is about to become? Me just live reacting to Jared being a pig? Hmm. But as far as I can tell, the target hasn't shifted. But yeah, I'm gonna I'm going to start wrapping it up because I'm afraid of seeing another Jared update. My problem with Cameron is that he's a bit of a creep. Jared is also becoming a bit of a creep. So, yeah, Corey is officially my favorite person in the house. Cameron and Jared are neck and neck for the title of my least favorite person in the house. Okay. That's going to do it for me for this stream. Thank you to my one viewer for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. I appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter for my live thoughts as everything major goes down, whether it's the target shifting or Jared being creepy. The last thing we need in this world is another creepy Jared, okay? But yeah, follow me on Twitter at NickGrimesYT. I got links to my Twitch channel, my YouTube channel there. And I will see you next time with probably with the results of the veto meeting tomorrow. I'm still not sure what's going to happen. All I know is I'm probably going to be questioning if I have enough mental health to get through the rest of the season again before my next stream. That's literally where I was at last night. I'm like, do I have the mental fortitude to keep up with this for the rest of the season? So we shall see. But nevertheless, I will see you next time. Peace out.